Sounds to me like you're daunted. Say it again like you're undaunted.
It really only takes two things for me to fall in love with a basketball team. First, wear Indiana across your chest. That right there is non-negotiable. That is a must. Second, work your tail off on both ends of the floor. I have a strong inclination that I will be falling in love with Indiana basketball under Darren DeVries. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Whenever you are listening to this, whenever you may be watching this, go subscribe on the YouTube. This is the Often Daunted Podcast, an ignorantly optimistic fan's perspective on Indiana basketball. This is part of the College Huddle Network of podcasts, an expansive collection of podcasts covering college football and basketball from coast to coast. And I am your host, Burke White. I am so pumped to be sitting down talking Indiana basketball again. You know, this is a weekly show for those of you who may just be joining us for the first time. And I have to say, I'm more excited now than I am for a lot of episodes. I just recently got back from, let's call it vacation, in which I took 3 under 4 to the Mouse House, old Disney World down there in Orlando. And you know how we did it. You know how we had to do it. We're parents in Indiana. So, of course, we didn't fly. Of course, we loaded up the SUV and drove both to and from Orlando for this trip. Dad maxing for a week. I was able to sneak away just long enough to watch the Baylor and Indiana exhibition. You know, I watched the Alabama A&M game at home in the comfort of my house. It was awesome. It was glorious. But I wanted to share some thoughts that I had on that Baylor game. So I'll be doing that at the top of the episode. After that, I will be recapping the promise of tomorrow. That was the Hoosiers 98-51 victory over Alabama A&M. And I say promise of tomorrow. You could say I'm laying it on thick. I say promise of tomorrow because it isn't about the competition that was sitting on the other bench. It was the level of competition that you saw inside of our guys. That team was fighting hard, harder than we've seen teams fight in the regular season opener. And it has me excited. I'm going to be recapping that. After that, it'll be on to this week's segment. Just wanted to share where each Big Ten school started on the KenPom and Torvik rankings. More so just to, for a later episode date, I wanted to see who were the biggest risers and the biggest fallers in those projections at the outset of the Big Ten season, of Big Ten play. So I wanted to just present where everyone started. We'll be doing that as the segment, and that will immediately be followed by the Indiana news, the national and conference news, as is usually the case. After that, it'll be the Flaunted and the Daunted for the week. That is your winners and losers for those of you just tuning in for your first time here. No Burke's Big Five this week, so no list. But after the Flaunted and the Daunted, we will get into a preview of the upcoming matchup with Marquette at the United Center. And after that, I'll be sending you out with a weekly Hoosier History Hit, as I usually do. Lastly, before we jump into the recap, I'll plead again. You know, more listeners on the podcast platforms have decent subscriber numbers there. Good download count there. If you guys who are listening on the podcast platforms would just open up your YouTube app, go ahead and hit subscribe to the YouTube channel. Doesn't cost you nothing. Just inflates my ego just a bit. Keeps this thing rolling. I can't thank you guys enough for finding your way here. You are truly Indiana basketball degenerates. You have found the last drop of Indiana basketball content out there, and I can't appreciate you enough. This show is a labor of love. I just love putting it together. I love editing it. I can't thank you guys enough. If you have any ideas for what I can bring to the show, what I can do here, please reach out to me. Follow me on both X and Instagram at Often Daunted. I'm a Mr. Follow Back, so you can definitely communicate with me on there. I love getting your guys' input, knowing what I can do to make the show better. Each show better than the last is what I'm trying to do here, and I can't appreciate any input enough. So without further ado, let's just get right into the recaps. Final score out of Gamebridge: Indiana 76, Baylor 74. you know what? Scott Drew's Baylor teams, they make the tournament. So I'm going to feel good about what we saw here out of Indiana. We saw fight, and we saw them fight to the tune of a victory over the Baylor Bears. It was a tight one. It was a tight one. Baylor's athleticism really stood out initially against the Hoosiers, especially in the first. And it was definitely the largest contributor to Baylor taking that 41-36 lead into the half. You saw Indiana throughout this game trail at 2 different points by 13 points, but you saw an Indiana team that didn't pack it in. That's something so foreign to us. An Indiana team at a neutral site game, even if it is exhibition, didn't pack it in. They fought, they scrapped, and they showed enough fight to get back. Like they were down 13 points. They got it to a 5-point Baylor lead heading into the half. And I was ecstatic about that. We aren't asking for much, but we're asking for this team to fight, and they definitely put that on full display for us in that Baylor exhibition. You saw how this team can struggle with the size and athleticism in an opposing team. But you saw a team that's willing to tighten it up and do the little things that are necessary to find a way to compete and fight and stay in these matchups. Effort over inches. You saw it on full display. Defensive effort got Indiana back the lead after heading into the half down 5. Indiana lost the second chance battle with Baylor scoring 18, while the Hoosiers only scored 3 points in that regard. But with Indiana scoring 22 points off turnovers as opposed to Baylor's 11, they made sure they were going to hang with the larger sized Bears. If you aren't going to win the single battle that was the points off turnovers and, the rebounding battle, Indiana lost that one 44-25. If you aren't going to win those battles, win enough of the other battles that you win the war. And Indiana did just that. Scott Drew's teams hit the offensive glass, and you definitely saw that as they had 16 offensive rebounds as opposed to Indiana's 4. But like I said, Indiana was able to create enough turnovers, really get after it, to stay active in this one. And it wasn't so much that they made the turnovers, because ultimately Baylor did 16 turnovers generated by the Hoosiers, resulting in that 22 points off turnovers. Indiana just being able to find ways to win, something totally new to us, including 20 for 21 from the free throw line. The absolute headline of that exhibition, Indiana sinking free throws. And like going to the line where at the game to follow, you just felt so much more confident. You were happy to see your guys going to the line. Why is that new for us? It shouldn't be new for us, but it is. And I'm so grateful that we have it. Making free throws like that absolutely decimates your opposition's optimism. And it just makes defense that much harder to play. Not even so much physically as it is just a mental toll on the other team. Indiana out-rebounded, like I said, 44-25, yikes. But being able to make the most of the rest of the game, Indiana was able to stay in and compete. Interesting to see how, even in this exhibition, Darren kept the rotation tight, but so did Baylor, if I think about it. Baylor played a total of 8 guys. Yeah, same. So these teams came to compete. It wasn't like they were going 12 deep into this one. Trent Sisley really struggled. I'm going to bring it up. Trent Sisley really struggled against the step up in competition and the step up in athleticism and speed. This was his first look at real competition, and he was just unable to get a shot up and contribute any real statistics to this one. Unable to contribute any assists as well. 17 minutes, 2 defensive rebounds. You would have liked to see more out of our highly touted freshman, but he has time to grow. We aren't expecting a 5-star one and done here. Trent Sisley is going to be such a key piece to the Indiana ceiling. It was unfortunate to see him come up short here, but there was just so much. There's just so much room for growth there that I'm not too worried with that one. You saw Reed Bailey struggle to find his rhythm in the post against the speed and size that he was facing. But again, he's finding his role in this offense. Only 18 minutes in this game, going 2 for 4 from the floor, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. There again, I mean, 3 assists in 18 minutes out of our center. Not too shabby there. Looking to distribute. That was just that. I mean, that's just evidence of Indiana's willingness to move the ball. We've seen Indiana constantly rotating the ball. If it isn't there, it's in somebody else's hands right away. You love to see it. It's there is no ISO ball, no back down nonsense that we've been just accustomed to at this point. It's a refreshing sight. And what else was refreshing about this game was while everyone's telling us that 3-point shooting is the end-all be-all of our success this season, Indiana lost the 3-point battle. Both teams got up 24 shots. Baylor made 8 of their threes. Indiana made 6. Indiana finding other ways to score the basketball. Lamar Wilkerson, absolutely, I mean, a demon at the line. Of those 20 free throws that Indiana hit, he had made 11 of those for 26 points in that game. Tucker DeVries adding 18 points with 6 rebounds as well as 5 assists. He's absolutely just a jack of all trades. He will do it all. He is the straw that stirs the drink. He is the one setting the tone, creating a culture in his father's program here. And Tayton Connerway, last person I wanted to bring up in the Baylor exhibition. Tayton Connerway is a bulldog, absolute bruiser. And it was awesome how he was able to end that game. Took it right down the lane. And, he was able to take it down the lane because Indiana's motion has now made it so nobody can park the bus right there. Nobody can park the bus, creating so many more opportunities for efficient shots for the Indiana Hoosiers. Now, that's all I'm going to spend on the Baylor game. I wanted to get into the Alabama A&M game because that was our first real one. Again, so pumped we beat Baylor. That's it there. Indiana absolutely takes it to Alabama A&M 98-51 in the greatest coaching era debut game in Assembly Hall. Darren DeVries with the 47-point victory over Alabama A&M has come out the gate just on fire. And like I said before, it wasn't about the level of competition in the opposition here. It was absolutely about the sense of competition you saw in our guys. Displays like that, they can take the embers of pride that this fan base has in this program and just absolutely reignite them into raging flames. You saw a team that is looking to compete, looking to get out there and work together towards the goal of just success. That's all you want in an Indiana team. It's all we've longed for. And you saw it in full display in this Alabama A&M season opener. With that 98-51 win, you saw Indiana's performance bump them from 40 to 33 in the latest KenPom rankings. Indiana took control with an early 23-2 run and in this game and never looked back, controlling this one pretty much for the whole 40 minutes. You saw 5 Hoosiers in double figures. The distribution was elite, absolutely elite distribution. 2 assists for Reed Bailey, 2 assists for Lamar Wilkerson, 4 assists for Tucker DeVries, 5 assists for Tayton Connerway, 4 assists for Connor Enright, 3 assists for Sam Alexis, 1 assist for Josiah Miles, 2 assists for Trent Sisley. Like it's a whole team, it's crazy. It's crazy. Not one guy managing all the distribution efforts. It is a team effort. These guys trust each other. You saw the big threes were the story of the first half in the Alabama A&M game. Big threes were the story of the first half. Cuts in the lane and throwdown slams were the story of the second. The shot chart for this game was an absolute work of art. It is a thing of beauty. No mid-range jumpers to be found at all. No mid-range jumpers. None. Efficient shots were the name of the game. Again, just something so foreign to anybody who's been keeping up with the Indiana basketball program. We saw an Alabama A&M player pleading for a challenge in the first 2 minutes of this one, and you knew this was going to be an annoying season with this being the first year that the challenge is in effect. Just before the first 5 minutes of this game, Tucker DeVries hit a big corner three on the move to give the Hoosiers a 14-5 lead, and I was just grinning ear to ear. This team came out looking to move the ball on both ends, looking to make shots, and Lamar Wilkerson, talk about making shots. Lamar Wilkerson started off hitting some big-time threes, including his deep three during Indiana's large 14-0 run in the first half. The team was cutting well to the basket. You make threes like that, you spread the ball like that, the lane will be open for cuts. Indiana was cutting to the basket well as a whole, just right out of the gate. Everything was a quality shot. Nothing inefficient. Good threes, easy cuts. That is chef's kiss basketball. Of course it will get harder as we step up in competition. It'll be harder against Marquette, obviously. But it was just awesome to see that a team could do that against this competition. We haven't seen that in recent years. The Hoosiers played aggressive defense. You saw the tenacity just again on display. But seeing Alabama A&M in the bonus less than 10 minutes in this one, it was not the best. That's by no means the best. We need to be a little more controlled in that regard, but you love to see the intensity nonetheless. Whenever the Hoosiers let up a bit in the on the defensive end in that game, you saw Darren call a timeout immediately. He ain't standing for it. Nobody's sitting around. Nobody's ball watching. You have an assignment on defense. Stick with it. And if you aren't, he's going to call a timeout and he's going to ream you out as needed. You love to see it. You love to see it. He took offense to it. He takes immediate offense to it. He'll call a timeout, chew your ass out as is necessary. And he's just getting them back into the state of tenacity he wanted to see on the defensive end. Awesome to see. Awesome to see. What else was awesome to see was just the trust. You saw a supreme trust in each other. It's so crazy that this team is all transfers, all new guys. It is so insane. These guys genuinely look like they trust each other. Based on that distribution of assists that I mentioned alone, you would think they trust each other. I feel like this team was in lockstep. Tucker, if they weren't in lockstep, Tucker would feel the need to be the primary ball handler. I truly believe that. But he was working his ass off ball, and the team was just moving it around with such ease to each and every body on the floor. Even the bigs looking great passing from the post and rotating nonstop. Indiana's assist totals, it just speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. This team's three-point shooting means that we are just never out of it. In that game, Indiana 10 for 24 from deep, which, we would be popping bottles if that was any, that success rate. 41.7%. If we saw that any other game in the last decade, we'd be just going nuts. We're okay, I think we can expect this now. This is a roster built for this. 41.7%. Love to see it. 10 to 24. Tucker DeVries. In this game, we saw him surpass 2,000 points in his collegiate career. And what was more impressive was it wasn't about breaking that record for him. You saw it wasn't about him hitting that milestone. It was about him just being a part of winning basketball, just showing some really impressive off-ball movement when he's just allowing others to step up and take care of business with the ball in their hands. He's not doing what he wants. He's doing what is needed. And I mean, he's also able to light up the box score while doing so. 18 points, 4 assists, 11 rebounds. Tucker DeVries with the only double-double in the game. Reed Bailey, he showed off a ton of his skills and why he was such a highly touted transfer this last transfer offseason. 21 points in that game as our leading scorer, 2 assists, 5 rebounds on 7 of 9 shooting from the floor. What is more impressive is 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Again, Indiana, absolutely a thing of beauty from the free throw line. 16 for 16. Indiana is the last 2 games. We saw 20 of 21. And then we saw 16 of 16. We can expect the ball to go in on free throws. How awesome is that? Most college teams should be able to say that. But we haven't been able to. There's been a shadow over the line for us for just far too long. And it seems like that veil has finally lifted. And we can shoot free throws with the best of them now. It's incredible. It's such a refreshing sight. Lamar Wilkerson scores 15 in the first half of this game, on his way to 19 in total on the game, shooting 40% on 4 for 10 from deep. Only made it to the line once and 1 for 1 though. Perfect there, of course. While I mean 40% is awesome from 3, but what was even more awesome were some of these shots. Like it's so smooth when he's shooting it, man. He makes it look so easy. I love that we were able to get this guy. It's going to be a fun season with Lamar Wilkerson looking to take as many threes as I definitely think he will. Tate Conaway. Again, putting on display that he's an absolute workhorse, and I just love to see this kid rocking the candy stripes. His effort bleeds through the viewers, through the screen for the viewers. It just does. Tate Conaway led the Hoosiers in assists in that game, also going 6 for 7 from the floor. Efficient shots. 14 points in this game in 29 minutes, and you saw that he likes going to the basket with that clock winding down. He was able to end the first half with a great finish at the bucket, much like the way he was able to end the Baylor exhibition. And that bucket at the he was able to hit that one in the lane just as the clock expired in that first half. And just after a slower start to the second half as a whole for the Hoosiers, it was Tate Conaway and Reed Bailey who really got it started and who got the engine going again. Taten's an absolute bulldog at the point, just cuts hard, defends hard, and makes the most of every opportunity in front of him. Josiah Miles in this game made his presence felt with a massive slam in the second half. With him taking on 17 minutes in this game, you would have liked to see more production as he had ended his night with 5 points. But it was, while you would like more production, he was as efficient as you could come. 2 for 2 from the floor, 1 for 1 from deep, 5 points on the night, 4 rebounds, all in 17 minutes. As well as an assist. Again, everybody was able to pick up an assist. This team trusts each other. They're looking to move the ball and create opportunities, not for themselves, but the best opportunity for those around them. Another relatively quiet day for Trent Sisley in this one after a quiet game in the exhibition against Baylor, but he will get there. He will get there. He will not be asked to contribute too much out of the gate, but we will need him to contribute more in the Big Ten play just due to his size compared to the rest of this roster. This team will need him for us to reach the ceiling of this roster's potential. And I'm hoping he can pick it up in stride and find ways to contribute. Nick Dorn was listed as questionable, but didn't get in this game. I'm just hoping to God he's good to go on Sunday and we can see what we've got there. If we need a little more off the bench against Marquette, because their backcourt is where most of their production will be coming from, it would be nice to know we have him on the bench ready to relieve some of our starters. In this game, Indiana was able to win the race to 69 with 15 minutes left in this game. And Alabama A&M at that point only having 27 point. Yeah, with 15 minutes left in this game, Alabama only having 27 points at that point. Jesus. Yeah. You saw a team willing to work. You saw a team willing to they were just out there running, creating space, creating efficient shots. Again, I cannot talk about that shot spread enough. It was an absolute thing of beauty. It's such a refreshing sight for any long struggling Hoosier fan. And with that's just some of my thoughts on that game. Let's get on to the show Walter Fish of the game. The show Walter Fish of the game is going to be going to Tucker DeVries. You could have given it to Tatum Conaway for just being an absolute bulldog, leading the team in assists, creating for others, going 6 for 7 from the floor as well. But I'm going to give it to Tucker DeVries because he hits that 2,000-point mark. He kept the long range rolling for the Hoosiers in that third from 3 in the second half, as Indiana was looking to take it inside more often, it seemed like, in that second half. Tucker DeVries, he's a godsend. He is going to he will be so crucial in Darren quickly establishing a new culture, a new identity in this basketball program, and you're seeing it right away. He's taking no time to make this team his, and I love it. I love it. So, show Walter Fish of the game goes to Tucker DeVries. On to the segment for this week. All right, for the segment this week, I just wanted to show off where both KenPom and Torvik had each Big Ten team finishing in conference. Starting with KenPom, first Purdue, second Illinois, third Michigan, fourth Wisconsin, fifth UCLA, sixth USC, seventh Michigan State, eighth Oregon, ninth Ohio State, 10th Maryland, 11th Indiana, 12th Washington, 13th Iowa, 14th Nebraska, 15th Northwestern, 16th Minnesota, 17th Rutgers, and Penn State finishing at the bottom, 18th. And on to Torvik's. Torvik has the conference as follows: Michigan finishing at the top, number 1 in conference. At number 2 in conference, he has Illinois. At number 3 in conference, he has Purdue. Number 4, UCLA. 5, Ohio State. 6, Michigan State. 7, USC. 8, Oregon. 9, Wisconsin. 10, Iowa. 11, Indiana. 12, Maryland. 13, Nebraska. 14, Washington. 15, Northwestern. 16, Minnesota. 17th, Rutgers, and 18th, Penn State. Looking at each of the offenses and defenses broken down, I just wanted to present like the top 5 offenses for each and the bottom 3 so that we can compare those later as well. As the top 5 offenses in conference, KenPom currently has Purdue projected to finish the best at with the number 1 overall offense. Second best offense in the conference would be Illinois with the number 2 overall projected offense. Third best offense in the conference would be Ohio State with the 11th best offense. Fourth, Michigan with the 14th best offense. And fifth, Wisconsin with the number 15 best offense. As his 3 worst offenses in the conference, KenPom had Northwestern at number 80, Penn State at number 111, and Rutgers at 112. For his best defenses in the conference, KenPom had Michigan at the top of the conference, number 7 overall, Maryland second at number 14 overall, third, UCLA, number 16 overall, fourth, USC, number 18 overall, and fifth, Michigan State, number 24 overall. The 3 worst defenses in the conference were Minnesota at number 71, Penn State at 95, and Ohio State at the number 98 overall defense. Insane, because Ohio State's offense is so highly touted. Their defense is just, man, I mean, you saw it against IU Indy. It's not great. It's not great what they got going there. On to the Torvik projections for his top offenses. Torvik has Purdue finishing with the top offense in conference with the number 1 overall offense. Michigan with the 2nd overall offense. Ohio State with the 3rd overall offense. Yes, the top 3 overall offenses in the country are in the Big Ten, according to Bart Torvik. At the 4th best offense in conference, he has Illinois with the 6th overall. And the 5th best in conference would be UCLA with the 14th overall best offense. His 3 worst offenses are Northwestern at number 105 overall, Rutgers at number 122 overall, and Penn State at number 151 overall. Bart Torvik's top defenses in the conference would be first overall in conference would be Illinois at number 7, Michigan State at number 9. Third overall is going to be Michigan with the number 10 overall defense, UCLA number 4 with the number 18 overall defense, and Maryland, the 5th best defense in the conference at number 21 overall. According to Bart Torvik, the 3 worst defenses in the Big Ten will be Minnesota with the 80th overall, Penn State with the 81st overall, and Washington with the 88th overall. It seems like the biggest winner out of all these initial projections is Michigan. They are the only team with a projected top 5 in conference offense and a top 5 in conference defense. Penn State, of course, looks to be the biggest loser, projected with a bottom 3 offense and a bottom 3 defense in conference. That is for both KenPom and Torvik. And yeah, that's all we're doing for the segment this week. On to the Indiana news. NBC Sports released a statement saying a 13-year NBA veteran, the number 6 overall pick in the 1993 draft, he was a 3-time All-American at Indiana and is still the Big Ten men's all-time leading scorer. Chaney makes his debut as a college basketball analyst on Peacock this season. Calbert Chaney, after spending his last season with us, will be joining Peacock's studio team for the College Countdown on Peacock. Awesome to see him. I mean, of course he's going to land on his feet. It's freaking Calbert Chaney, all right? The man's a legend. He has hella opportunities. Glad to see that he's going to be on Peacock whenever we have those games. Got some transfer news since the last time we recorded. 2026 wing Vaughn Carvalho has committed to the Indiana Hoosiers just this last Saturday. He is out of Bella Vista Prep, 6'6", 180-pound wing. Currently on 24/7 Sports, he has a 92 overall score, 4 stars, ranked the 46th recruit in the nation, the number 19 small forward, and the 6th recruit out of Arizona. The 24/7 composite has him at 0.98, still a 4-star, the 42nd overall recruit, 20th small forward, and the 5th out of Arizona. ESPN has him as a 4-star, the 30th overall recruit in the nation, and Rivals has him as a 4-star, the 59th overall recruit in the nation. His choices were narrowed down to Cal, Xavier, and Indiana, and thank God he chose the good guys. He will be joining us next season, and hey, Vaughn, welcome to the Hoosiers, man. It looks like an exciting brand of offense you'll get to play. Adam Finkelstein of 24/7 Sports said of Carvalho is loaded with glaring upside. He's a big, nearly 6'7" wing with a pretty shooting stroke from downtown. He runs well, covers the court, and can rise up explosively to play above the rim. The key is putting it all together consistently and efficiently in order to impact winning at the highest degree. Again, just congrats on just all the hard work, man. It paid off. You get to join the best basketball program there is, man. I'm so pumped that this kid committed, and when it rains, it pours. All right, this was the first domino. We got more coming. We got help coming, guys. Don't worry. All the doom and gloomers when we aren't getting 5-star just like bag chasers. We did that. Let's go get the guys Darren wants. This guy from that little bio I just read from Finkelstein on him seems like, he can shoot the 3. Yeah, seems like a guy who might thrive in a Darren DeVries offense. Awesome pickup for the Indiana Hoosiers. And I'm happy for him to get on campus next year. Thanks to a hot start, going 7 for 7 from the floor, the Hoosier women were able to take a 25-11 first quarter lead all the way to the end of the game, beating Lipscomb 80-46. Shea Chensky with the game high 22 points in that one for the Lady Hoosiers. The AP just released a list, and that list was these teams that failed to make the 2025 NCAA tournament could be dangerous this season. Indiana was the top of that list in this article, with that article stating Mike Woodson's coaching tenure ended with 2 straight 19-win seasons that didn't include NCAA tournament berths. The Hoosiers are turning to Darren DeVries, who coached just 1 year at West Virginia after a productive tenure at Drake. Tucker DeVries is following his dad to Indiana with a career average of 17.7 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. Lamar Wilkerson averaged 20.5 points at Sam Houston last season and scored 26 points in Indiana's preseason exhibition win over Baylor. Tayton Conaway, a Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year at Troy last season, had 17 points against Baylor. That was it. The Atlanta Tip-Off Club recently announced the preseason watch list for the 2025 to 2026 Jersey Mike's Naismith Trophy Men's College Basketball Player of the Year. Tucker DeVries found himself on that list. I believe his impact on the Big Ten this season is just being massively slept on. Robbie Hummel even spoke to it a bit on the broadcast of the Alabama A&M game. He was just saying, man, if this guy wasn't following his dad and his dad wasn't the story, like him coming to Indiana just as a transfer would have been blockbuster. He would have been one of the big, if it wasn't just a preconceived notion and there was a market for him and he was up for grabs, him coming to Indiana would have made waves, far bigger waves than it did. And I couldn't agree more. It is truly quiet. He's being slept on so hard. I cannot wait for him to blow some of these Big Ten fans away. Currently, he is sitting at plus 17,500 to win the Wooden. I didn't see any on the Naismith, so I brought up the Wooden. With that last win, Indiana jumped 7 spots on KenPom overnight from 40 to 33. I just wanted to bring that up again because, man, it's so nice to see our team moving in the right direction in those rankings. It really is. We don't do that. We don't climb KenPom. We fall in KenPom. That's all we've known. That's all we've come to know. Darren DeVries has us climbing them. This Indiana team, I think we got something special here. I mean, they're undersized, but what they can do very well. And I'm excited to see what this season has in store for us. On to the conference and national news. Not too much national news out there, not too much conference news. Just wanted to bring up the challenges again. It started, so I saw it in the Alabama A&M game, but it started with the Purdue game when I was watching that. I was watching the Purdue game, and it just struck me, man. The introduction of the challenging rule is going to lead to finger twirls everywhere. Evansville's players were hitting it like within the first 2 minutes of this game. And it was pretty routine. It was like half the plays in that first half. Just you getting the yeah, just nonstop. And it's going to get annoying after a while watching this over and over again because you know it's not going to stop. It's everywhere in the NBA, especially during the playoffs, man. It was everywhere, but it's here to stay. So get used to it. Just another thing we got to put up with, I guess. Some of the scores around the conference at this time of recording. Some of the scores that we've seen so far. Ohio State's defense may be worse than their 98th overall KenPom ranking would have suggested initially, as they played IU-Indy in a far tighter game than even this score would suggest, beating the Jaguars 118-102 in Columbus. Gabe Cupps with 5 points and 4 rebounds in 18 minutes during his Buckeye debut. Pharrell Payne, a player that I really wish we could have gotten him. I love that kid's toughness. He's a monster down low. He will just fight for boards. But Pharrell Payne with 21 points and 6 rebounds in his Maryland debut as the Terps beat Coppin State 83-61 in Baltimore. Number 22, Michigan State played Colgate closer than they would have liked in their 80-69 win as Jackson Kohler scores the game-high 16 while grabbing 15 boards. Penn State beat Fairfield 76-68. No other notes there. I mean, Penn State won that game by 8 points. Number 24, Wisconsin beat Campbell 96-64 with Blackwell dropping 31 points, going 6 for 11 from deep in that game. Cade Tyson led the Gophers with 30 points on 8 for 12 shooting from the floor as Nico Medved got his first win with the Minnesota Golden Gophers 87-60. Rink Mast had a 10-point double-double as Nebraska beat the West Georgia Wolves 86-53. Arrington Page gets the double-double with 18 points and 12 rebounds as Northwestern beat Mercyhurst in Evanston 70-47. Number 17, Illinois spanked Jackson State 113-55. Tomislav Ivovic with the game-high 21 points for the Fighting Illini. Michigan set a school record with 69 points in the first half as they beat Oakland 121-78. USC beat Cal Poly 94-64. Number 12, UCLA beat Eastern Washington, won in a game that was much tighter than Mick Cronin would have liked it, 80-74. If you watch this post game, like he's already doing Mick Cronin things. He's already going to the complaints about his players' effort and complacency. We are in for such a ride this season with Mick, and I'm here for it. Bryson Tucker records a double-double in his debut as a Husky with 12 points and 10 boards as Washington beats Arkansas Pine Bluff 94-50. Number 1 Purdue handled business. Yeah. Number 1 Purdue handled business at Mackey, beating Evansville 82-51. 11 assists for Braden as he continues towards that assist record. Iowa beat Robert Morris 101-69 in Ben McCollum's debut at the helm. Oregon nearly got upset at home and needed the last second bucket to beat Hawaii 60-59 in Eugene. Those were your scores for the beginning of the season. Man, Big Ten basketball, it's back. It's so nice to have a team to be excited about, because the way last season ended truly drained me. And it's amazing how quickly I can just get fired up again. And yeah, on to the Flaunted and the Daunted for the week. Starting off with the Flaunted for the week. Kurt Cignetti and the Indiana football Hoosiers. Again, if it's a week they win, they're going on the list. This team's incredible. The Indiana football Hoosiers, of course, they're on the Flaunted list this week. Never stop. Fast, physical, relentless. Let's keep it rolling all the way. I mean, me and my buddies, we already bought the tickets. We bought the Big Ten championship tickets. So let's keep it rolling. Let's have a day there. Let's have a day in Indianapolis. Arizona freshman Koa Pete. He's going on here too. Incredible debut and just such a huge spotlight on the biggest games of the opening day of the regular season. 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists against the preseason All-American at his position, Alex Condon. Incredible to see, considering this was the best debut any Arizona Wildcats ever had his freshman season. Like, they've had some ballers run through that school, and incredible that Koa Pete was able to do what he did against Florida. Like, it was the best performance of an Arizona Wildcat freshman in their debut. I'm sure Arizona hasn't had to play the likes of the previous season's national champion every season. Like, that's incredible that he was able to do that. Tucker DeVries is going on the Flaunted list for everything he is bringing to this Indiana program right now. He's, like I said, he's the straw that stirs the drink. And it's awesome, man. You thought that if this team was lackluster, if he wasn't able to trust these guys, he would be doing primary ball handler shenanigans. But it's just a confidence that I think he's quarterbacking the confidence of this squad. I do. And I appreciate the hell out of him for it. Also, just a truly confident individual we have on the team this year, Tatum Connerway. Starting off this season right with that showing he had against Alabama A&M. Tatum Connerway, Flaunted for the week. Again, led the Hoosiers in assists in just what was an entirely just team-oriented distribution display. Lastly, Darren DeVries. Darren DeVries with the best debut for a Hoosier coach on their opening game. Best margin of victory. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm loving how quickly he addresses any shortcomings on the defensive end, any lapse in defensive intensity. He'll nip it in the butt right away. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Darren DeVries, and of course he's Flaunted this week. Daunted, we have TCU as 21.5 favorites to the University of New Orleans. Coming up with the loss. That's absolutely insane. Such a tough beat. The only tougher beat in the country being Boise State's. Boise State lost to D2 Hawaii Pacific 79-78 in a game that I don't think we were even able to bet on. Insane to end your season in one, like the same night it starts. Right now, like Joe Lunardi, if you went on the ESPN's bracketology, Lunardi had Boise State as one of the last 4 teams in. And I have to say, I don't think that's the case anymore. I'm sure they're bounced. yeah, I mean, you got to win the conference now. You have to win the conference tournament. That sucks. That sucks, man. T2, that is a quad 5 loss. Like, that is off the radar. Crazy to have lost that game. Daunted Disney. I need this Marquette game to be available to me. The Marquette game is on ESPN. If they don't figure it out in the next 4 days, we're done for. Next 3 days, we're done for. We have to get that game. I need that game. So let's make sure that this deal gets done quickly here soon so that Indiana fans can watch the Hoosiers this weekend. And lastly, on the daunted list, it's the record 13th straight appearance, maybe 14th. Purdue football. Man, they almost did it. They almost came up with the upset in the Big House and almost found their way off this list. Alas, here they are. Purdue football. Daunted. Daunted as hell. On to the preview of Marquette. Marquette currently sits at KenPom in the number 47 overall position with the number 62 offense and the number 25 defense. In the all-time history of this matchup, Indiana versus Marquette, Indiana leads the series 8-2, with the last matchup coming on November 14th, 2018, when Romeo Langford led the Hoosier production, going 8 for 15 from the floor on his way to 22 points. Hoosiers ended up winning that game in Bloomington 96-73. For this game this year, in the year 2025, IU on the ESPN matchup predictor, according to ESPN Analytics, IU has a 70.4% chance of winning as opposed to Marquette's 29.6%. Marquette in their last 2 matchups beat University of Albany 80-53 and beat Southern University 100-82. I've been listening to Marquette podcasts in preparation for this one, and it seems like Marquette fans, like, they're not too high on the overall outlook of this squad compared to Shaka's prior seasons at Marquette. That being said, it's still Marquette. They're going to have some quality players. They're going to bring it, and Shaka's a great coach, man. So the Hoosiers absolutely have to be ready for this one. Shaka has taken you look at Shaka's roster, and Shaka has taken the development over transfers mindset to heart since the portal era started, and this season is absolutely no different. No transfers in or out for him this season on Marquette's team, and I just think that speaks volumes to the culture that Shaka has established in this day and age, that because guys are whispering in players' ears. That dudes are trying to lift players from rosters. Being able to keep all your guys in this day and age is pretty damn impressive. So credit to how he's running things over there. What I can say about this roster, though, is I don't think there is a Cam Jones or Tyler Kolek type on this team this season. I don't think we have to worry about anyone that just game breaking. Senior guard Chase Ross is the most known commodity on this Marquette team this season. He's dynamic offensively, standing 6'5" at the guard position. He is a preseason first-team All-Big East member. 5'10" junior guard Sean Jones he's been rehabbing his ACL for about a year and a half, and he will be stepping into a larger role this season after he was hitting some massive shots for them 2 seasons ago, his freshman year. It'll be interesting to see what he's bringing to this game after that injury, but he's a player who hasn't shown an ability to routinely drain the three, but if it's crunch time, he finds another gear and level of dependency. He's built for the moment. So if it comes down to a tight one with them, we got to watch out for that guy. 5'10" junior guard Sean Jones. Another larger guard that they have at 6'5" is Zayd Lowry. Zayd Lowry plays an integral part of the Golden Eagles offense. He shot 37.5 from deep last season. He's currently shooting 44% through the first 2 games of this season. Another guy we have to – it's a backcourt game for the Marquette Golden Eagles. In their most recent outing against Southern University, their 182 victory over Southern University, Chase Ross led the scoring production with 23 points for the Golden Eagles on 8 of 13 from the floor and 1 of 4 from deep, while also hauling in 6 boards and dishing 6 assists. Sean Jones showed off some serious shot-making ability in that game, going 4 for 7 from deep on his way to 12 points. And 6'9" sophomore Caden Hamilton led the front court production, going 5 for 6 from the floor, getting 12 points in that game. Marquette took the lead with 9:25 left in the first half, and they did not trail again. Zayd Lowry led the team in scoring with 12 points in the first half to go up 43-37 at the break. With Ross scoring the team high 14 in the second to make sure that they had secured that win. You know that it took them if you were watching that game, it took them longer than they would have liked to take control of this one, as they only took the lead with 9 minutes left in the first, and they held on to it until the end. But by halftime, they only had a 43-37 lead over Southern University. And personally, what I would like to see in our matchup with the Marquette Golden Eagles, I want to see Southern. So Southern was beating Marquette in points in the paint 24-12 at the half in this game. Like the first half, the paint production was slow on Marquette's end. So I'm really going to be keeping an eye on Reed Bailey to just take advantage of his offensive skill set down low. He came to us as an offensive post player. That's what he's been touted for. I'm really looking for him to take advantage of that skill set to continue to contribute just high efficiency from down low in this game. Marquette is a backcourt-driven program, and it's no different this season. If Indiana doesn't bring the same tenacity on the defensive side that I'm beginning to think and already hope is a characteristic of our scrappy, undersized squad, Chase Rice and Zayd Lowry could really light it up. They will be larger than whoever's guarding them. They just will. So I just want Indiana to bring that effort over inches attitude into this one that served them so well against Baylor. If we can bring that same tenacity, I really like our chances here. With Tucker DeVries healthy, our floor is risen. Our floor is risen. If he can continue to set the tone and attitude of this team, I'm confident Indiana will find a way to just move the ball around the perimeter enough to continue to open up those cutting lanes and get those, like I said, the points in the paint. Marquette was struggling in that regard. I think we can take advantage of that with our ability to create those cutting lanes. I want to see the same shot spread this game. The work of art that was that last shot spread. Shots from the arc, shots at the rim. That's all we need. Let's keep it that way. While Lamar and Tucker shooting has been the story so far, I really could see Reed Bailey having a breakout game, even more so than his 21 points last game. A breakout game in this one. And also taking advantage of his ability to pass the ball to find those open shooters in Lamar and Tucker. If we can bring that into the United Center, I really like our chances. I do. My final prediction of this score is going to be Indiana 81, Marquette 72. And, we don't have too many opportunities to pick up good net wins apart from this, Kansas State, Louisville, and Kentucky. So we need to take advantage of this opportunity. We need this victory. Some Marquette fans seem to think the United Center is going to be blue for this one. Let's prove them wrong. Anybody in the Chicago area, if you want to go see these Hoosiers, and there's no reason you shouldn't. This is a team you want to go out and support. These guys are going to play for the Candy Stripes. Go support them. Get out to the United Center. Just get it done. All right, on to the Hoosier History Hit. Mick Foley worked for the WWF, the WCW, ECW, TNA, as well as other wrestling promotions in Japan, and in his time became one of the largest personalities and biggest stars of the Attitude Era of professional wrestling. He headlined WrestleMania 16 along with Triple H, The Rock, and The Big Show, ultimately losing to Triple H in a four-way elimination match. His prolific career that ended in being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame with the 2013 class. His main persona during his time with WCW and ECW was his Cactus Jack persona, a no-good do-batter from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, who rocked sick cowboy boots while never being afraid to get gruesome with his use of tacks, barbed wire, and the like. Following his introduction into the WWF, now the WWE, in 1996, he introduced the world to his persona, Mankind, a mentally deranged masochistic individual who was always sporting his leather face mask while wrestling. Following Mankind, Foley introduced Dude Love, a hippie persona. Mick Foley's craziest performance in wrestling may have been the 1998 Royal Rumble, where all three of his different personas appeared in the same event. Foley is a four-time world champion. That includes 3 WWF championships and 1 TNA World Heavyweight Championship, an 11-time World Tag Team Champion, 8 with WWF and 2 with ECW, 1 with WCW, and a one-time TNA Legends champion, as well as having won the inaugural WWF Hardcore Champion belt. And you're like, where's the Indiana part? Despite growing up in New York for most of his childhood, Mick Foley was born in Bloomington, Indiana. So, yeah, that's all I got. I had a stretch for this one. Nothing good really came up this week that I could find. So, Mick Foley is your Indiana Hoosier History Hit. Born in Bloomington, Indiana. Let's get you on out of here. Thank you so much for tuning into the Often Daunted Podcast. Again, this is a labor of love. This is my hobby. Can't appreciate you enough for giving me your time. Go ahead and subscribe to Often Daunted on your podcast platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube. If you want to see the ugly mug behind the mid takes, make sure you go there. And I will be back here following the game with Marquette, hopefully to recap a victory and discuss another Indiana effort for all of us to take pride in. Again, this team has the ability to stoke the embers of pride we had in this program into raging flames. A big win over Marquette would go a long way in doing so. God bless you and yours, Hoosier fans. Lux et Veritas. Take it easy. Bye.